Happy Thanksgiving afternoon to you. This weather video is driven by 802cars.com, representing 802 Toyota, Twin City Subaru, and 802 Honda. They're all located off of exit 7 on Interstate 89. Broad picture is the parting storm system that's leaving New England, and it's dropped some fairly decent, some light to almost moderate levels of snow, some 8-inch amounts and so forth. I saw a couple 10 inches in some parts around the Allagash of Maine, and I just saw a foot there. So there has been some pretty good snows to the north and east. Most of the storm came through as rain for us, and except for a little bit of that transition and changeover. And that's what's currently taking place right now as this storm system begins to exit out of the region. We're seeing a lot of clouds upstream, so it's going to take a while before we get into some sunshine, but that's going to happen sometime tomorrow morning. The other big item here, of course, is the West Coast storm that's off Southern California. It's a pretty hefty one, very deep area of low pressure off of Central California this Thanksgiving Day, and some hefty snowfalls are taking place there with lowering snow levels, of course. And we have sort of various pieces of this jet stream energy that has been spinning up parts of the storm, and then this is what's going to consolidate and then take a track, move across the country, and then into the northeast U.S. with snow arriving late on Sunday night. That is going to be our next big weather maker. It does look like there could be a fairly large snowfall across southern parts of Vermont into southern parts of New England. Northern areas get skipped out a little bit, as that's going to be leaning a little bit more southerly than the last go around here. But for the most part, it looks all snow, no mixed precipitation. There could be a little bit of wet snow mixed in there, but at this point in time, it looks like we may even get by that without any wet snow. So that's looking pretty good with the next weather system moving in for late Sunday and then lasting into Tuesday, at least in some parts of southern Vermont. Looking at the European model with the incrementals here, you can see our storm system. It's pushing away. This is the West Coast storm system, kind of bits and pieces, but a fairly strong low that's going to be consolidating and tracking toward us. Let's run the modeling and take a look at that. So our storm system pulls away, precipitation stops, bit of a northerly wind begins to relax. High pressure begins to build into the region for a couple very nice days on Friday and Saturday. And a portion of Sunday looks like it'll be dry as well. It's not until relatively late in the day that we start to see this leading edge of precipitation beginning to work into the region. This is valid about 21Z. That would be 4 o'clock in the afternoon on this coming Sunday. You can see that first bit of snow working in. Now, this is a very elongated storm, so I want to go back and show you something here. This area of low pressure, it kind of gets ejected from that Central California area of low pressure and then cuts across the Rockies, reforms a surface low a little bit further to the north than what is originally modeled here. But that gets into parts of southeastern South Dakota, northeast Nebraska. Then it takes a track kind of from the lower Great Lakes, and then it gets elongated. You note that the upper level energy of this area of low pressure is way back here. That's quite a ways from a surface low that's now developing south of Long Island. This system is going to have to be watched here. I have very low confidence on some of these, the way these things are developing. However, this is the latest track here. A little bit of heavier snow across the southern parts of Vermont after the initial push of snow, and this is valid around 7 o'clock in the morning on Monday. And then that system kind of wobbles around. We get a little more snow in the southern parts of Vermont, central Vermont, misses out in northern Vermont, and so forth on Tuesday. That area of low pressure then slowly departs as it runs into an area of blocking high pressure up near Greenland, and it's probably going to force this system to hang around a lot longer. So we'll see how that all develops. But that's the latest via the European model. GFS ensemble, you can see that the main precipitation 3-hour QPF is going to be on the 1st of December, which is basically working in late on Sunday night, late Sunday into Monday and Tuesday. And you can see that over a length of time here it will linger. We're not looking at a tremendous amount in the way of QPF. Let's take a look at the total here. So we're talking about 0.8 to about an inch of precip total. And then in that, snowfall. Again, this is the GFS ensemble. Snowfall looks like this. So we're looking at potentially 8 inches. And again, this is 9 inches maybe for Montpelier. Now, the latest model run of the GFS is this blue line. You can see that's really cut down to basically 3 inches. And I think that the heavier amounts of snow are going to be to the south of Montpelier, more across our southern 4 counties of Vermont, Rutland, you could be in for it, as well as Springfield, Brattleboro, back over to Bennington. This is the total QPF, 7 days expected. The West Coast is still getting banged around here with a lot of storm systems coming into the southwest part of the country. Desert Southwest is doing exceptionally well, continuing with some of that heavier precipitation amount. And you can see that you go north of the Canadian border, not a whole lot. This is not because of our political borderline. This is just how cold and dry things are going to be up in this neck of the woods here. Still a little bit of flurry and light snow shower activity, but really nothing accrues when we have very cold Arctic air situated across Canada. No great shakes here, but running about 3 degrees below normal for this time of year. A little bit of a warm-up in the center of the country, at a little bit of a Chinook kind of warm-up here, lee of the Rockies. And then about 3 days later, we cool back down, running about 3 to 6 degrees below normal, and that plains start to heat up or continue to heat up just a little bit. The West Coast in general is below normal in temperature. Taking a look at the climate reanalyzer here, you can see this colder air up in the British Columbia and parts of Alberta and so forth, with above normal temperatures around Alaska. That's associated with that big ridge that continues to drive the cold air into North America. That North American modified Arctic air then becomes milder over time, and occasionally you get these little warm-ups, and that's been the name of the game. Look at the Antarctic has really warmed up. It's starting to look like Antarctic amplification is a main player nowadays, and very much like Arctic amplification across the North Pole region, where it's reducing some of the sea ice and so forth. That's it from here, Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights. Thanks for watching.